Hey guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. Well, I'm not using that microphone because I just can't get it far enough away to where it's clear most of the time. I apologize for, I think the last video or maybe the one before that, the audio just did not sound good to me, but nothing else I could do about it. But y'all, we had a ton of rain last night. It kept me up most of the night actually. But if you can see, there's green coming up around a lot of the grass, but there's little sprigs of grass all over out here. And I let all the chickens out because their pens are just a soppy, muddy mess because of the sideways rain. I mean, the water runs down back behind his doghouse. I still ain't cleaned up a mess. And then down this way, well, that hole right there's 3 foot deep, y'all. It's still full of water. It hadn't rained in 6 hours. The ground's still covered. But it washed away everything inside the chicken runs. Grass back here's nice and green, which I came through with the mower last week. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do as far as right here, or either grade and deter the water further away toward the fence line maybe. I don't know. But anyway, I need to get out here and pick up some of these down limbs. But I had a video made that I was planning on uploading for what y'all are seeing now. But I accidentally deleted it and it's gone. So I'm gonna try to go back over some of it. Look at all the blooms and the leaves on the blueberry bush after all the rain. There's a bunch that washed away. But look at the both pear trees. It's hard to see the second one, but it's got a lot of growth on it too. Just not as big as this. But both pear trees are just loaded. That pear tree over there's got a few on it. See, right there. Fig tree's got a lot of growth on it. So hopefully it's going to be a good year for fruit and all that. See all the blooms on the ground off these peach trees back here. And I don't know what this thing is here growing. I actually thought it was a privet that just overgrew, but whatever, it's bloomed. And there's a bunch of them on my property and around the property that way. And the pollinators have been out in those things like crazy. So I'm hoping my peach trees and all that are also getting pollinated. But you can see where all the debris washed under the fence here. Look, I can put my foot under there. The chickens will scratch it back. But this little scuppling vine I weaved through the fence. It started grabbing a hold, but I don't know. I don't see any green on it, which bothers me because there was green on it a month ago. But I haven't been back in the wooded part. I thought about getting on the tractor and going back there, but anyway, all the chickens are doing well. I'm still getting 16 to 18 eggs a day, you know. The brown turkey hen is still sitting on eggs. She's sitting on 15 chicken eggs, mostly Rhode Island red eggs, not all, but mostly. And 4 turkey eggs. And I could put a couple more turkey eggs under her, but I'm not going to do that. She's been setting for pretty close to a week now, so I don't want to add another week to her setting. So I'm just going to leave her there. Let her do her thing. So let me see if I can zoom in and y'all can see this. No, it doesn't really show up good on camera. But there's a lot of green sprigs of grass. So if I had pretty weather and didn't have to let them out to give the pen ground time to dry out. I filled up both feeders, by the way, which you can see in the camera there. Both of them been topped off. If I had a different place to put them to give that, a place to dry out, or I could divert the water. It really didn't run into the chicken pen. What happened is all the sideways rain. We had a lot of wind with all the rain, and I have no idea how much rain we got, but it was a bunch. I can't remember the last time we got a rain that just washed everything clean as good as this did. So anyway, so I've got a project that I wanted to work on this weekend, and that was part of what the last video was about. But I don't know that I'm going to get it done. I'm probably not going to start it today. This is Saturday, by the way. The rainstorm was Friday night and early Saturday. And we got a bunch. So they're just hoping I give them some scratch feed, and I don't have any. They might be one little half a scoop in there, but I'm not going to give one some when I can't give the other. So anyway, I'm going to walk over here and show y'all this project that I was planning on working on. I'm hoping I can get to it tomorrow, but y'all know I've got this Generac RS5500 generator. You come around here and you can see what it says. It's a gas-powered generator, and typically, I run all my gas equipment once a month. I could pull the cord on this tiller here twice, and it'll crank up and run no problem, because I run it often enough. Well, I skipped a month or two of running my generator here, and that carburetor's gummed up. And I could probably fool with it and get it to run, but that's a problem that everybody has that has gas generators. So I ordered a propane carburetor, or it's called a tri-fuel carburetor, to where I can take this gas carburetor off and put this tri-fuel carburetor on, and it'll make this generator run off of propane, natural gas, or gasoline. Now, I don't want it to run on gasoline. I just want it to run on propane. Propane carburetor is not going to gum up like a gasoline one will when it's not being used. And I've got it. It's been delivered. I've got it in the house. And of course, like everything else, it came with absolutely no paperwork, no instructions whatsoever. And it didn't come with new gaskets. So I'm thinking if I start this thing, I may not be able to finish it. I know I'm going to have to get a gas line to go from the new carburetor kit to connect it in with my propane up here. And that's the plan, is to be able to run it on the propane or one of these grill bottles. Because rotating this gas for me is just a heck of a chore. And I've showed y'all in the video, I've got 45 gallons worth of empty gas cans in the back of my personal truck up there, and that I need to refill. And I fill up my truck or whatever with it to rotate through, because I just don't use enough here on the homestead. But being able to convert this generator to gas will prevent me having to worry about that carburetor getting gummed up and the length of storage. You can store propane indefinitely. It's not going to go bad. So that's kind of where I'm thinking. I want to try to get this thing converted, and I've never done that, so kind of makes me nervous about it. But I bought what was suggested for this exact brand and make and model generator, and it's not supposed to lose any horsepower when I convert it. So that's my project I want to work on next. And I showed y'all in the video I deleted, the Yanmar or Cub Cadet, whatever you want to call this thing, is a diesel tractor. So diesel fuel stores much longer than gasoline without having issues with it. Plus, I've only got this piece of equipment that uses diesel, so I can fill up the tank in it, which is full right now. It only holds about 4 gallons. And then a 5-gallon can, guys, that'll last me 4 to 6 months. You know, even if I was plowing the garden and such with it, it's going to last me quite a long while. So I can store less and worry about rotation on the diesel fuel than I do gasoline. Now, my truck holds 35 gallons of gas, so that's where most of the cans that are in the back are empty from. I filled it up. I drove both of them to both tanks were about empty, and I filled both tanks. And then I filled the lawnmower, you know, all that stuff. So it's just, to me, a prepping thing of being able to get this generator to run on propane. And this generator has a 240 volt output. Oh, let me get down here where I can run. It didn't close. There we go. I can run everything on the property, including the well, off of this. Now, I can't run everything at once. I can't turn on all the air conditioners or all the heaters and, you know, all of that. But it's a 5,500 watt generator, if I'm not mistaken, and it handles everything. I've even turned the dryer on with this thing. You don't need to run much else when you're running the dryer, but this thing will do it. So converting this to propane, and I'm not worried about running the dryer when crap hits the fan, don't get me wrong. But I've got the plug up here, and I've done that for several years. Had a way to hook this thing up and supply the power that I needed in an emergency when the grid's down and bad weather or whatever. So, but being able to run it on propane and hook up one of these small grill tanks, you know, will run it for many hours. And it's easy to store. You don't have to worry about rotation on it so much. And I can hook it to the 120 gallon tank that I run the stove and the grill with. That's a game changer as far as having emergency backup power. The only thing I wish this generator had was an electric start, and it does not. So one day I will upgrade to a propane powered generator with an electric start, and my off-grid inverter will crank the generator when it needs to charge the batteries. And that is the goal, but you know, things aren't cheap, so it takes me a while to get to things. So anyway, I'm gonna get off here. I put up a new Carpenter Bee trap. This one is half full from last year. I need to get that bottle out and dump it. But I put up a new one on the back corner on that side of the building. So I'm hoping I can, and I know they're good pollinators, but man, they destroy lumber. Look at this. Let me show y'all. And I see one in there. Y'all see it? It's in that hole. I'm fixing to spray some WD-40 in there because it'll kill him. But they drill into everything and destroy lumber and weaken it and all that, and I just don't need that kind of problem. So I can't stand those and armadillos. And I know the armadillos help break this hard ground up, but I don't like them. They dig up under my house. So I haven't had a problem since I put the brown bags up with wasp nest or anything like that, because I got them on both sides. And those brown bags work, guys. They think it's a hornet's nest and they won't build a wasp nest anywhere around here. But they will get into places out of sight of there. But so far I haven't had a problem with it. But anyway, so that's my next big project. I've already bought the carburetor with shipping and tax and everything. It was like $71. So it's not that expensive to convert this generator to propane, but I'm still going to have a gasket set for it more than likely. And I'm going to have to buy the gas line to hook it up. So it's going to be more expensive. I'll probably have $100 or a little over dollars in the total conversion when I'm done. But, you know, it's a game changer as far as having your emergency backup power that's going to be dependable and not worry about the carburetor. So I'm sitting out here. I've got my, what I call my tree rat shooter, my 12 gauge over there. and hoping I don't see that hawk. I've had several people comment it's illegal to shoot certain hawks or hawks and all that stuff, and I understand. But if it's killing my livestock, I'm gonna take it out, deal with the consequences. But I haven't had to do that yet. But either way, I can't afford to just let them kill all my animals and you know, all that. I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm down to 8 Rhode Island red hens, well 6 and 2 barnyard mix. And if you want to know which one's a barnyard mix, y'all, if you see that brown and white one right there, they're all getting in the way. She's got feathers that run down her legs, just like Sue does, because she was one of the, and this one right here in front of her with the black tail, you get right there. Those two are my barnyard mix. The rest of them are Rhode Island red. So they've got feathers on their feet. You can easily tell they're not the same exact breed as the Rhode Island red, but they got a lot of Rhode Island red in them, and they all lay very well. So and you know, the reason I raise chickens is for a couple of things. One is eggs. You know, you can't beat the fresh egg that you get from your own chickens, and you know they're not fed a bunch of crap they shouldn't be eating. And two is I butcher a lot of the chickens when it's time to butcher them and put them in the freezer, so that you get meat and you get eggs from them. And I sell a lot of the eggs. So, and I think I've told y'all in another video, I need to sell 12 eggs a day basically to pay for the feed. And I don't sell quite that many, but that's what with the way I feed them, I just fill the feeder, let them have all they want. That's the way I take care of mine, is give them all they want that way. And I also give them scratch feed, you know, as a treat. But 12 eggs a day would pay for the feed that I'm buying to raise 24, 23 chickens and 3 turkeys. So it's not very expensive. That does come to $3 a day, which, you know, times 3, that's $90 a month. So you're going to spend $100 a month on feed, plus the water and the time and all that. I understand that. A lot of people can't afford an extra $100 a month, but you're not doing a big 100 at one time usually. You can buy a bag of feed a week, or a bag, you know, every other week, whatever, depending on how many chickens you got. Down in South Georgia where I am, a bag of layer pellets is running anywhere from $14 to $16.50 a bag. From the farmer's seed and feed place here. If you go to Tractor Supply, you're gonna pay $20 to $25 a bag, but I don't buy from them. So anyway, I'm gonna get off here. I appreciate you guys watching the videos and listening to me. And you know, if you want to know more about the generator conversion, I do plan on videoing as much of that as I can, and hopefully that'll interest some of y'all and make things a little easier for when crap does hit the fan for you guys as well as for me. And you know, let me know if you like that kind of content. But I see Sue back there doing his job. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here, guys. I thank y'all for watching the videos. Remember what I always tell you: Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I. Y'all be safe and be prepared.